like, I knew the Velveteen Dream was winning the North American Championship before the tapings aired weeks before. And that annoyed the crap out of me that I had seen it. So, yeah. Hope they do the right thing with the finals. I mean, I don't know. I really, we'll see what winds up happening. I'm really looking forward to the next round matches. I'm looking forward to Keith Lee versus Dijakovic. I believe I'm saying that right. I just know him as Dijak. That's it. But that match between those two definitely belongs on a takeover. Yeah, it could be. Again, once we get closer, then I'll figure it out. You know, I'll probably look back at this and be like, you know what? This guy was right. So, but something to look forward to once we get closer to that time. Anyway, speaking of which, I'm going to air a little bit of a match, give myself a tiny bit of a break before Darius comes on. So, I will be right back in just a little bit. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live on Open Mic Wrestling Night here live on Twitch. Also, if you're not listening to it on the live window, you are listening by way of Fill in the Void Podcast Network, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, tune in all the other podcasting outlets in which you can hear your favorite podcasts. And right now, joining me at this time, and it's been a little while since I've actually talked to him on the show, but I'm glad that he's on, Mr. Darius Carter. Darius, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I am extravagant, wrestling's richest prize, the all-father, the impeccable intellectual. It's great to be here, and you're lucky to have me. Again, this is twice. You're really lucky.
Twice or three times?
Twice or three times. However, it's more than one is the point. All right, you should know better than me. This is to your benefit at the most. So you should be able to tell me to the minute how much time we've spent together. You're welcome. You're welcome, by the way.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on. I was just telling the audience the last time that you were on with me, we had a little spat when you were then the No Limits champion of Warriors of Wrestling. Last time we were in the same building together, I refereed your match, and you bumped into me. Whether it was on purpose or unintentional, you know what? I'll just leave it as such, excuse me. And again, let it go behind us, and let's just get on with this.
Yeah, that was completely accidental. There was no reason for me to attack a referee or for you to be left in a damaged position. That's no good for me. So let's not even touch upon that. All right, I play by the rules. All right, and I'm not going to knock out a referee. So let's. You're right. Let's skip that, and let's talk about me and approach me in a more pristine manner moving forward, please.
Yes, well, we shall do so. By the way, if you're watching live on Twitch, if you have a question or comment for Darius, please feel free to leave it in the chat. If I get to it, I will be able to read some of it to him as we're on the air here. By the way, right now, as I kind of stated, last time you were on, you held the Warriors of Wrestling No Limits Championship. Now you are the BCW Heavyweight Champion, the World Heavyweight Champion, rather, and now you're, what, at 181 days? 182 days, something like that?
I'm 118, but I will make it to 181. I will make it to double, to triple. It's going to be an outstanding reign, not just for myself, but for BCW. The promotion is going to make more money. There's going to be more revenue. You're going to see this place take off because it's going to be on my back, and I'm going to take off. So it's going to be outstanding. I love building. I love creating. I love being the foundation of. So that's what I am to BCW right now. They've needed it for so long. And this is their opportunity to grow as it is mine.
Well, I was just going to ask, actually, too, that you were saying that, you like being basically, to paraphrase, even though you just said it, the foundation of a company, the cornerstone, the main event. You know, talk about that kind of responsibility. There you go. Reed Cooper had said, I'm going to hold into that more money. But anyway, so talk about that for a second. Like, as a wrestler, for holding a championship for any company, I mean, there's a million independent promotions out there. But to have that kind of trust from somebody to, view you in that light, to put you in the position to be heavyweight champion, whether that happens or not is up to the competitor, obviously. But talk about that, the difference it is just to be a heavyweight champion as opposed to holding any other championship in any company.
See, and that's the point. It's not about being put in a position. It's about earning a position and being that position. So that's what being a champion means. See, a lot of these wrestlers just want to get their paycheck, wrestle their great match, a 5-star match, a 4-star match, and they want to get their gifts made. They want to read their own reviews. They want to count the views. That's cute. That's great. But I'm here to bolster and to build and to make things better, because that in turn makes me better. As if I can reign over multiple empires, that makes me better because I'm seeing the growth of these empires. I'm managing the growth of these empires, which is only going to make me stronger and make me rise up higher. The more skyscrapers that I'm standing on top of, the higher that brings me. So that's the responsibility, is the willingness and the desire to be there to the end at every show, be the main event, be the marquee match, the marquee player. Everyone should want that. You should want that with independent promotions. You should want that on TV. Everywhere you go, you should want to be the top person there. You shouldn't just be taking a paycheck just to be on match 4 of a card and to get your money and then leave early. That's not what wrestling is about. If you want to be the top person, no matter what promotion you're at, if you want to be at the top, you should want to be the champion. You should want to be the standard bearer. You should want to be the one that everyone is talking about. And that's what I am and continue to build upon. When I go at Warriors of Wrestling, I'm the one you come to see for Staten Island. Other places in New York you want to go to, BCW, I'm the one you come to see. It could be any promotion that Darius Carter stepped foot in. That's what it's all about.
And to your point, I can't remember the person who had really tagged this quote, but if you're not in it to be the champion or to be the man, why are you in the business? And you kind of really summed it up quite brilliantly. Of it is, that's what it's all about.
It's not just in the ring. It's not just in the ring. It's also, and you see this too, is people sometimes don't want to, do the photo ops, or they don't want to do the interviews. They don't want to do the questionnaires. They don't want to show up to some of these things. You would think that every wrestler wants to do that, but that is so far from the truth. Some of these guys just want to get in there, wrestle, and again, they want to see themselves again and again in a GIF or in a video or in a video review or a written review, an article. I'm here. I'm everything. Inside, outside of the ring. I look the part. I walk the part. I talk the part. I go in that ring. I leave everything inside of that ring, and I make my opponents wrestle. I make them work. And I'm not using a term, I mean literally work. It's all about the love of the game and wanting to elevate the game, and that's what Darius Carter's about. You don't have to, I don't care what you think about me, I don't care what you say about me. At the end of the day, my actions dictate my direction. World heavyweight champion right now, legitimate world heavyweight champion, my 4th world championship of my career, defended inside, outside of the United States. That's what it's all about.
Yep, and speaking of which, we'll get to that actually right now. You are just talking about being money and promoters seeing it and they want you on the show. You have a great working relationship or business relationship, I should say, with LDN out of the United Kingdom. You're working with them always. Forgive me for not knowing this offhand, but you held championships through them as well. And to my knowledge, I don't know if you're still a championship title holder for them, but all I know is you've held championships for them and you've brought them over to the United States. and you've wrestled in the United Kingdom and I believe in the United States against their competitors. I'm pretty sure I asked this the last time you were on because I think you were embarking on your first UK tour. But now that you've been going with them a little bit longer now, explain to the audience for because obviously you watch it on television, you watch it on NXT UK for those a casual fan. The UK fans are very different than they are in the United States, and that goes without saying. Talk about the difference of UK talent and talents from the United States.
Yeah, that's an excellent topic to touch upon because I did defend championships across both promotions. Tier One Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship at the time, I had defended that on United States soil and United Kingdom soil, and then I won the LDN Capital Championship. Okay, and I defended that as well in the UK. I did two tours. The first tour was a week, and the second was 2 weeks. So, and there is, of course, a third one that's going to be coming up this year. So when it gets announced, it's going to get announced. But I love competing in that environment because first off, that's really my style. You know, that's the way I prided myself on. That in ring, that that catch as catch can, close quarters combat. Okay, that in your face, gotta grab a limb, gotta grab a hold, grab a submission, grab something. Grab something. This is professional wrestling. We must stick and move. And that's the style I love. The fans over there, those people over there, they have a different mentality in watching wrestling than the people in the States. The States, they've been conditioned in a lot of these places to like this 2019 style, this flash bang, sizzle, all sizzle, no steak. That's what a lot of these crowds. I'm not saying every crowd because obviously it's different in many places, but it's not as different as it should be. Is my point. And in the UK, there's just a consensus on what wrestling is over there. I feel a consensus that is not where it should be or where it could be in the United States. So going out there and catching a man with the European uppercut, you know, it gets you in front of a UK crowd. It's like they really, they really see the contact there. Again, they see it in the United States, but in the United States, you can pull the wool over their eyes, and they're up and clapping, and chanting, "This is awesome." You can pull the wool over, and I think it doesn't work in that same way in the UK. So I love wrestling for listen, wrestling is wrestling. I love wrestling no matter where it's going to be. There are differences, but the UK top notch, top notch.
I can't even imagine because again, it. I mean, I know you haven't wrestled in Japan yet, but watching it as a viewer, it's almost like there's the similarities. I mean, again, people in the United States they love and they appreciate the wrestlers and wrestling, and that's one thing. But they also show it in different ways. I always love that about the UK crowd that they really appreciate, um, their wrestling, and again, not to say that people in this country don't, but it must be nice to go over somewhere where that the fans are really paying attention to every little detail that what you're doing in the ring and the like.
Correct, and that's what I'm about. I'm not about moves. I'm about moments, and I'm about every single moment meaning something. Every step that I take, every movement I make, uh, that's what it's all about. And I see that a lot when I watch wrestling. It's just empty movements. The way they Irish whip somebody, the drop down, which is too far from the opponent. The little things that I look at, and it takes me out a little bit. And I think a lot of people just let that go, and a lot of fans, whatever, will just let that go. And to me, I'm one of those people that if I can counter something in the simplest, most effective way, I'm there to do that. I'm not looking to hit you with a Northern Lights into a brain buster just because I can. If I can trip you up and you collapse off the top rope and fall onto the mat on your face, I don't care how it looks as long as it's effective and proper. And that is the difference. That is a difference. The grittiness it's professional wrestling, all right, and that does allow for a little bit of room